Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. This is a re-upload of my main channel of a Godzilla marathon, 8 episodes long. I'm going to split it in half. I'm going to put 2 episodes together, so 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So whichever one you're watching, enjoy. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to, but it's me talking about Godzilla movies as I watch them, watching every single one up until 2014. No, 2016 actually, because Shin Godzilla as well, and the animated trilogy as well. So there's that. It's up to 2018, and then King of the Monsters spoiler talk will be up after these are up, after all of them are up. So just so you know, enjoy. Hello, it's your boy Davidoff, and welcome back to Movie Monday. I just watched the first movie of the 6 millennial Godzilla movies. I'm going to watch them all in this episode. By the way, I watched other movies actually on Monday because I didn't sleep all night, so I thought I'd just keep myself up for a bit, then go to sleep. I watched, wait, hold on a second, I've lost the, oh there we go, right, cool. I watched The Mysterians, Varan the Unbelievable, and Frankenstein Conquers the World. So yeah, I enjoyed all of those. I thought they were all pretty fun movies. The Mysterians actually, it included, I think Ghidorah, I think it was. It was a mecha monster that was used in Godzilla vs. the Space Godzilla. So it was good to see that monster again, like an old version of it, so that was pretty interesting. So I watched those 3 movies. But anyway, yeah, I just watched the 1999 Godzilla movie, and it's called Godzilla 2000. So yeah, I think it's called that because 2000 is coming up in the movie. I have no idea, but the movie takes place over like a few days, I think, like a couple days. Godzilla's shown like straight away. Like in most monster movies, they wait, but this Godzilla, they show it literally straight away. Literally, like he's there in like almost the first scene. It starts with a chase scene, and that chase scene was good. That was pretty intense. Really good way to start the movie. But yeah, Godzilla's got a different design in this. It looks pretty interesting. It still looks cool. Still looks like Godzilla. Looks very different to the previous Godzilla actually. You can clearly see that he's changed. That the design is different, but you still know it's Godzilla. And it looks massive as well. Pretty sure it's the biggest one so far chronologically. Pretty sure the 2014 one's bigger, but we're not there yet. But still, yeah, that was really cool to see. It was really cool to see. I still prefer the previous version though. The Heisei Godzilla for me is the favorite one. I just really like the Heisei Godzilla. But he was pretty cool as well. And there's also like, well, at the start Godzilla's on a rampage, or a little bit of a rampage, and the army goes to fight him. And there's a guy, I think, is he leading the army? I don't know, he's just a guy that wants to kill Godzilla basically, and the army handle him pretty well. I mean, they don't let him get close, they keep firing at him, which is pretty cool. But elsewhere there's a UFO, and the UFO was stuck. It wasn't stuck, but it was underwater, and eventually it broke free. Apparently it's it doesn't really work at night time, I think. Actually it did at the end, but for like half the movie. It needed daylight to actually like fly, but eventually it flew towards Godzilla and attacked Godzilla. So that was pretty interesting. So clearly there's aliens in that UFO probably. And yeah, eventually what it leads up to is basically the army's attacking Godzilla, then the UFO comes and attacks Godzilla. And there's like 2 different parties there. There's the guy who wants to kill Godzilla, then there's the other like family who want to research and study Godzilla, to study other things. So that's pretty interesting. To see 2 sides to that, 2 perspectives towards Godzilla from a human perspective. So yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. But eventually you get the final battle where the aliens fight Godzilla. The aliens form into a monster. I think it's called Orga. I'm pretty sure it's called Orga. It was called Millennium at one point, I think. I saw 2 names on Wikipedia. I think it said Millennium and Orga. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing, but different. Basically, Orga is the final form of a monster that the aliens form into, and he's made out of like similar things to Godzilla. So he's very durable as well, and you get some epic monster battle. Monster battle. Godzilla destroys the UFO first of all. Then there's some big fights, and this monster Orga, it's powerful. It just keeps getting up. Godzilla just can't destroy it, and it's just really crazy to see. But the way Godzilla kills him is crazy. Like literally that thing, Orga, tries to eat him alive. A bit like a snake, how a snake would eat a crocodile or something, or an alligator. Yeah, I guess that's a cool similarity, even though it's not a snake, Orga, but still it was swallowing Godzilla. But eventually, oh yeah, I forgot to mention by the way, One thing I like about Godzilla's design, his new design, I like how it glows purple at the back, and I like how his atomic breath is reddish. It looks really cool. The effects looks really cool. Like whenever he breathed out those atomic rays, those are just cool to look at. Those are really good to look at. So I really enjoyed those parts. But at the end, literally, Godzilla's half eaten, half swallowed alive, and from the inside, he fires his atomic breath straight inside the body of Orga and destroys from the inside. That is a crazy way to kill him. That is ridiculous. So yeah, that was awesome. That was basically like most of the movie. Also, Godzilla killed the guy who wanted to kill him. Killed the human being who was going to kill him. So that was pretty interesting as well. But yeah, I liked this new design. Is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And the next movie is Godzilla vs Megaguirus. I don't know what Megaguirus is. I have no idea, but we're going to see in a second. So yeah, let's go and watch it. Alright, so Godzilla vs Megaguirus was pretty good. I enjoyed it. They started off showing the footage from the original movie for Godzilla, except they used the new Godzilla for those clips, basically. They showed similar scenes to the original Godzilla movie, but with the new Godzilla in this period, which is pretty cool. They connected it basically. It's a follow-up to the original movie, and even the last movie as well that I watched, Godzilla 2000. That's also a follow-up to the original movie. And so the next two movies apparently also the same, a follow-up to the original movie, which is pretty interesting. Instead of like doing sequel to sequel, they put them all as sequels to the original, which is an interesting way to go. But that's how they're doing it, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the same design as the last movie, of course. Yeah, it's Megaguirus is a giant dragonfly, pretty much, like a huge dragonfly. First of all, there's dragonflies like there's prehistoric dragonflies. They're called Megaludon, I think. Hold on, let me just. I should probably have it up on my phone. Meganulon when they're in larva states. Then when they get wings, it's Meganula, or the other way around. Either way, those are the names. These dragonflies, they're a bit bigger than humans. Like, it's pretty big for a dragonfly, but they're a bit bigger than humans, pretty much. And some of them actually eat humans in this movie. I think at least one of them does anyway. It takes away a couple of humans. But yeah, it's pretty scary because there's a lot of them. There's like a whole swarm of these dragonflies, which is pretty crazy. And eventually you get to see them fight Godzilla, which is interesting because usually you get to see Godzilla fight other monsters, or one monster, one big one or two big ones. But this one, he was fighting like a lot of little ones. And that was an interesting aspect of it because it's kind of interesting how he'd handle smaller ones instead of like one big one. So that was pretty interesting. Pretty much at the beginning there's soldiers and Godzilla kills all of them pretty much, apart from this one woman who vows to finish the mission to try and kill Godzilla, and she gets involved with making a weapon. I can't remember what it's called. Tide something, I can't remember, I've forgotten now for some reason. It was a cool name as well, but they use the weapon from a satellite. They need Godzilla on land first, and they need to like fire it at Godzilla. It's like a black hole sort of weapon thing, which is pretty interesting. And yeah, when they first lure him to an island because they need him on land, on uninhabited islands, and they're about to shoot when the dragonflies come in. A whole swarm of dragonflies just come in, and suddenly there's no lock on. There's no lock on to these to Godzilla, so they can't kill him. But he fights these dragonflies. He kills a lot of them. They try to get energy from him as well. They try to dig into his skin, and they do that as well for a little bit. But he breaks out of it eventually. Uses his atomic breath a couple times, and he destroys most of them. But some of them are still there, to be fair. But yeah, and then they get the lock on. They fire it at Godzilla, and he survives. Either they just missed, or it just didn't work for whatever reason. Pretty sure one guy said it wasn't ready anyway, and they were too quick to use it. And this woman who wanted revenge, she was just like, we got to use it. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. And yeah, eventually Megaguirus comes up. Megaguirus doesn't appear till like halfway through the movie. So these dragonflies, they dig into a little body like under the water, I'm pretty sure, and that massive body is Megaguirus. It's a giant, like a huge dragonfly, a lot bigger than all these swarm of these little ones, these human-sized ones. And yeah, when you finally see it, it looks scary. And that's what you expect from a monster. You want it to look scary, but damn it, it's ugly. It looks so ugly. Like the face, the mouth, and the eyes is just like, oh dear, you wouldn't want to you wouldn't wanna, you wouldn't want to look at that. That's all I'm saying. It's scary though. It's scary. It looked pretty scary. And yeah, eventually in the final battle, it fights Godzilla, and it is an epic battle. It's awesome. It's like, it's really cool, and the Megaguirus is quick as well. It's like it flies around really fast, and it had the upper hand on Godzilla, to be fair. But eventually, I think its tail with its stinger, I think, for Megaguirus, tries to go in Godzilla's mouth with its stinger, and Godzilla just bites it off, and then he wins it from there, because it's an agonizing pain, Megaguirus, and Godzilla, that's my phone, sorry, and Godzilla just Godzilla just atomic breaths him, and yeah, he just destroys Megaguirus, just absolutely destroys him. But still, like, before that, it was a good battle, like a really good battle. But I really enjoyed that. Like, that last battle was really cool. Actually, after this, they used the weapon again on Godzilla, and they apparently killed him. At least I thought they did, because I assumed, because he was gone. Like, they used the weapon on him, and he was destroyed. He was gone. I think the black hole thing took him away or something. But then there's an after credit scene, and you don't see Godzilla, but you hear his roar. You see some kid going around someplace, then you hear Godzilla's roar, and that's where it ends. And I'm like, okay, I guess he survived that then. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I didn't expect an after credit scene, to be fair. I'm pretty sure none of them had them so far, unless I missed it. But I tend to skip to the end just in case, and yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, so he survived. The next one is, what is it? Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. Giant monsters all out attack. That is a mad name. It's quite long, the name, but it's a mad name. I'm looking forward to that. King Ghidorah's back, and Mothra as well. Looking forward to it. So yeah, let's watch it. Alright, so obviously sequel to the original movie. The village that Godzilla first appears in the first original movie, when he first goes on a rampage through a village, that same village is shown in this movie as well, and he goes through the same rampage again in that same village. That was a pretty interesting callback, a nice referencing there. But eventually, 3 guardian monsters are woken up to defend Japan against Godzilla. So that's pretty interesting. The 3 monsters are Baragon, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. It's pretty interesting to see King Ghidorah as a guardian, rather than, usually it's him causing the destruction, and Godzilla not trying to stop him, but fighting him off. Even though Godzilla causes destruction as well, but still, it's pretty crazy to see the roles reversed in a way. But yeah, Baragon takes on Godzilla first, and to be honest, he's no match for Godzilla. He pretty much gets destroyed. Then eventually, the final battle, Godzilla fights Mothra and King Ghidorah. They don't really attack him at the same time, I don't think. Sometimes they do, like at some points they do, but most of the time they go one-on-one. Just go at the same time, like surely that would. But anyway, still, it was still like this final battle. Like before the final battle, I was like, this is okay. It's nothing that special, but it's okay. But that final battle, that went on for so long, and that was in a good way. I mean, that went on for so long. It was just one long epic battle. Like I really enjoyed it. Even had some breaks in the middle as well with human scenes as well. But most of it was just really good battles. It was really fun. I hope the 2019 movie, because the final battle contained Mothra, Godzilla, and King Ghidorah, who are all in the 2019 movie. So I hope to see similar scenes, because if we get like a massive battle like that, I'd be very happy. I'd be very happy. But yeah, it's a prolonged battle, but eventually Godzilla kills Mothra, and I'm pretty sure her energy transfers to King Ghidorah, because King Ghidorah gets a lot stronger after she dies. Which might be the reverse of the movie in 2019, because maybe in 2019 Godzilla gets energy from Mothra. It's a rumor, by the way. It's just a rumor I've heard. I've watched a lot of theory videos on Godzilla, and King Ghidorah for a while he has the upper hand until accidentally a submarine. There's humans as well trying to kill Godzilla as well. They want to find a way to kill him, and they have a weapon that can. And there's a guy in a submarine, and he shoots. Godzilla turns around and it hits King Ghidorah. It's just it was pretty funny. There's some things said in this movie as well that are really funny. I wish I wrote them down because I've forgotten them now. But there are some funny things that people screamed that were just really funny to listen to. I was like, okay, okay. But yeah, eventually Godzilla wins. He's OP in this movie. I mean, he's very villainous, obviously, and he's taking everyone out. And then eventually there's this giant energy, like, I don't know how you explain it. It's just some giant yellow thingy in the air, and it shows images of Baragon, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. I assumed it was the energy of those monsters. I have no idea, but it went into Godzilla, and then he sank into the ocean, and then a minute later he blew up. Forgot to mention, I'm in editing right now, and I forgot to mention something. He had a wound, basically, that humans were aiming at to shoot the wound, to injure him, to try and kill him. And after he sinks to the ocean, he gets up eventually, and then he gets shot. He gets shot in that wound, and he tries to fire atomic breath at two people, but instead of it coming out of his mouth, it goes out of his wound, and he just can't handle it, and he falls into the ocean, and then he blows up. So yeah, I really enjoyed the final battle. I really enjoyed that final battle. It was a nice long battle, or at least it felt long anyway. I do enjoy like long battles, like for example Avengers, the first Avengers movie. The final battle in New York is like half an hour long. I just love that scene. I could watch that scene over and over again. And it's this, hopefully the 2019 movie has something similar to this monster movie as well, where it's just one long fight at the end. That would be awesome. I'm sure we'll get more than one fight though, for sure. But yeah, still, yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Just that final battle. I keep mentioning it, but I really enjoyed it. At the end, they also teased that, because at this point you think Godzilla's dead, but he's not dead. Well, he might not be dead, because they go underwater and you see some massive heartbeat or something. And I was looking at it like, I was looking at it and thinking, where's his head? I was pausing it, and I was like, I'm guessing it's Godzilla, but where's his body? Where's his head? I see his body, but I was like, where is? Okay, I was a bit confused. But maybe his head exploded. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it was a pretty cool follow up to the original. Yeah. So next movie is something, because I haven't even unlocked my phone yet. Fantastic preparation, this Davidoff. Just turn your phone off. Godzilla versus. No, actually no. That's a different era. Sorry about that. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla in 2002. So that should be good. So I've watched 4 movies now. Godzilla 2000, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, Monsters All Out Attack, and Mechagodzilla. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Is it just me, or is the design from the first 2 movies that I watched in this episode different from the other 2? Is it just me, or is it because I feel like they changed the design from the first 2 to the next 2, even though it's the same period. But I know they're not connected anyway, but still, I was just wondering, because am I just seeing things, or have they made it? Have they changed it mid-period? But anyway, yeah, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. What they have changed though is the atomic breath. In the first 2 movies, he glowed sort of purplish, and his atomic breath was like red. This one definitely blue, these last 2 movies. But anyway, yeah, humans, this is a direct sequel to 54. Humans use original Godzilla's dead Godzilla's bones to create a new Mechagodzilla, to fight a new Godzilla that turns up to destroy Japan. And yeah, it focuses around a female pilot who, at the start of the movie, she makes a decision and some soldiers die, and she gets blamed for it by another soldier. So there's some arguments there throughout the movie. And it focuses around her because she pilots Mechagodzilla. So she uses Mechagodzilla obviously to fight Godzilla. But on the first standoff between the 2 monsters, Mechagodzilla, I'm pretty sure, got flashbacks. I'm pretty sure. I guess the DNA's in the bones, partly anyway, because I saw flashbacks from. I saw the Oxygen Destroyer. I saw the dead bones. Mechagodzilla generally had a flashback to 54, to dying. So yeah, as soon as it heard the actual Godzilla's roar, the new Godzilla's roar, it just got flashbacks, and it didn't respond to her commands. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, fast forward to the final battle, a big battle between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. Neither, Godzilla doesn't die. This new Godzilla just doesn't die. But they do drive him away eventually. There's a big battle, and it ends in Godzilla walking away, pretty much. Mechagodzilla, well, she survives in there. She survives. Mechagodzilla is still intact. Damaged a lot, but still, intact. And it's gone back for repair at the end. So that's pretty much the movie. It was pretty enjoyable. It was pretty enjoyable. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure the design changed from Megaguirus movie to the next 2. which there's no issue with that. I'm just wondering, like, am I seeing things or is that true? But anyway, next is Godzilla Tokyo SOS. It's got Mechagodzilla, Mothra, and Komobas. I don't know what that is, but it should be exciting. Okay, so the climax of that movie was fulfilling. It was a really good, long, drawn-out battle at the end. And a nice ending too. It gave a pretty nice ending, apart from the after credits scene where you get a tease to something else. But still, I enjoyed the battles in this. There's also, like, I like how in a lot of Toho movies, there's the human element's actually interesting. Like the humans, like in the 2014 movie, I do love it, but I love it mainly because of the Godzilla action. The humans are not that interesting in that movie. Same in 1998 as well. 1998, I enjoyed it, but humans, not so much. In the Toho movies, not in all of them, but in most of them, the human characters actually, like, they're actually interesting. So I just thought I'd mention that. In this one, there is a mechanic. There's lots of mechanics, but there's a main mechanic. I think his name is Chuho. No, that's not how you pronounce it. It's Chujo. This was by the way, this was the first subtitled one I watched. The rest were English dubbed so far. Anyway, yeah, there's a main mechanic who fixes up Mechagodzilla, and there's the main pilot. There's a pilot guy who is the pilot of Mechagodzilla, and his dad is actually the Prime Minister, I'm pretty sure, or the leader of operations with Mechagodzilla. And the mechanic and the pilot, they have disagreements and stuff throughout the movie, so that's pretty interesting. And there's a female pilot as well who's sort of like in the middle of the two. She's a co-pilot to the pilot, but she's also like friends. No, she also talks to the mechanic as well. They're pretty friendly. She's friendly with both guys basically, but they have disagreements. But yeah, let's just move on to the final, just massive battle. I don't know how long it was, but it was pretty long and pretty good. So a signal by a kid and his granddad. They set up some chairs, and it's basically a symbol to signal Mothra to come in, because Godzilla's on the warpath. Mechagodzilla's not ready yet, so Mothra comes in and fights Godzilla, and Godzilla's quite brutal, you know. He bit Mothra's leg off. I was just like, okay. By the way, there's also an egg in this. There is an egg, and it hatches eventually, and out come twin Mothras. You get two larva twin Mothras, so that's very similar to Mothra vs Godzilla in 1962, I think, or 60. It was 60 something. Mothra vs Godzilla. There was the main Mothra who eventually dies, and then you get two larva Mothras coming out of an egg to fight Godzilla. So it's a similar thing there, and another thing happens at the end as well, which is pretty similar to that movie. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, Godzilla eventually, and Mothra does well for a little while, but Godzilla eventually pretty much beats him up. Mechagodzilla comes in. There's no, like, they don't fully do the checks because it's not fully ready yet, but they have to launch it, have to step in, and Mechagodzilla fights Godzilla. Mothra joins in. The lava Mothras, they join in as well, and it's just a really good battle. And some of the moves are pretty cool. There was one move that was like really cool, and that was a bottle. Sorry, it was really cool and it's funny at the same time. The guy he flipped the pilot inside Mechagodzilla. He flipped Mechagodzilla, flipped Godzilla over his head, just flew up over his head upside down into the floor. It was like a wrestling move. It was just really funny to see monsters do it, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's just a really cool long drawn out battle. Then eventually Godzilla's been pretty much, I mean, he's still standing, but he's been battered quite a lot, and the lava Mothra twins, they web Godzilla up. But just before this, Godzilla basically cries out in pain because they fired a lot of weapon and firepower at Godzilla, and Godzilla cries out a big roar, and Mechagodzilla, just like the last movie, has a flashback to 54 and remembers, and it has a mind of its own now at this point. The pilot loses control, has a mind of its own. Oh, I forgot, by the way, Mecha was down at one point, then the mechanic got there to actually fix it again, to like get back up. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, towards the end of the fight, Mecha gained a mind of its own again and refused to fight, and Godzilla was webbed up completely, but by the two lava Mothras. The mother Mothra was pretty much, she was down, it couldn't fly anymore. I don't think, did she die? I can't remember if she died or not, but she definitely can't fly, so that's quite sad. But yeah, but they were gonna, like, Mecha was going to deliver the final blow, and it just refused, gained a mind of its own. What it did was it walked up to Godzilla, and it picked up Godzilla, was webbed up, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention, by the way, the webbed up Godzilla, that was very similar as well to Mothra vs Godzilla, because the twins web him up and put him in the ocean. And this time Mechagodzilla picks Godzilla up and flies him into the ocean, and flies him down into the ocean, because the original Godzilla who died needs to rest, pretty much. So Mechagodzilla takes the new Godzilla down into the ocean, and that's basically the climax. The two love Mothra, they're still alive. But yeah, it's a pretty fitting climax. A lot of things happen. It's quite emotional as well, the theme song and everything. And it's just done really well. Like, they end it really well for the monsters and for the humans as well. So it's a really nice ending. It sent a message out as well, like, because humans made a lot of mistakes. They need to, like, own up to them and do better as well. It was sent a nice message. It was a nice ending. It was fitting. Then you get the after credit scene, and when I first saw that tube thing, I thought Oxygen Destroyer, but apparently it's not. I saw the subtitle and it said Godzilla DNA extracted 1999, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I know it's another movie anyway, but still. The next movie is Godzilla Final Wars, and I've heard a lot of things about that because it has a lot of monsters in it. I'm pretty sure I've already seen. Right, it's got Monster X, which is that Ghidorah? I have no idea. It's got Monster X, Kaiser Ghidorah. No idea. Never heard of Kaiser Ghidorah. Zilla. So I'm guessing that's the 1998 Godzilla. Rodan, Mothra, Gigan. I want to see him back. King Caesar. He was pretty cool. I want to see him again. Anguirus, Minilla, so baby Godzilla. Kumonga. Oh, it's a pretty cool monster, that. Kamacuras, Manda, Hedorah, and Abira. And then there's others. There's Gazora, Varan, Baragon, Gaira, Titanosaurus, and Megaguirus, but they only turn up in stock footage apparently. But still, that is a lot of monsters in one movie. I've checked the timing and it's 2 hours long, so longer than the rest. I'm looking forward to it. Alright, so a lot, and I mean a lot, happens in that movie. I get why it's 2 hours. It could have been more, to be fair, with the amount that was in there. This is like the Infinity War of the monster movies. Actually, no, this one came first. So Infinity War is the final wars of Marvel, basically. What I mean by that is, like, it's one big battle. It's not one battle, but it's like it crosses over so many monsters from previous Godzilla movies, puts them all together, and you get so many big battles, and it's pretty crazy. At the start of it, you find out there's mutants. So obviously there's already humans with like telepathic powers and stuff, but now you get like proper like mutants, and they're trained to form a team. It's like, I was thinking, like, is this like the monster version of the X-Men, pretty much? But they're basically there to like defend the world, basically. Basically, the humans have all united around the world to team up and destroy the monsters. And at first you see Captain Gordon and a crew. Captain Gordon is one of the main characters, one of the main human characters. You see a young Captain Gordon destroying Godzilla, trapping him under ice, and you don't see him again till like an hour into the movie, pretty much. And then, like, after the opening credits, like the first scene you see, there's Ghidorah. Ghidorah gets destroyed underwater by Captain Gordon as well. Actually, wait, was it Ghidorah or Manda? Because I swear it had one head at one point. Maybe I got confused. It's one of the two. Anyway, the point is, Gordon, there's a lot of ships around the world, but Captain Gordon's ship and his crew, they destroy one of the monsters. And yeah, it develops into eventually an alien race coming around, because there's a UFO. Basically, there's a lot of monsters going around destroying stuff. So it's not just Japan this time. This time you get like the world in general. Like, I can't name all of them, but you get Rodan in America and New York. Kamacuras, I think, is the name of the thing that was in Paris. Zilla from '98, the American Zilla, was destroying Sydney. I'll tell you what though, the effects for the most part are fine, But the Zilla effects in this movie just looked really bad. Like, you could just tell it was so obviously, like, it was pretty bad, to be honest. But at least you knew it was Zilla, and he was destroying Sydney, and Geras was in Shanghai, King Caesar was somewhere, I don't remember where he was. And then you see Manila as well. You see little Manila just hiding somewhere, who's not causing destruction. It's only a little beast as well. And yeah, eventually all the monsters are taken by the UFO, and yeah, they pretend to be friendly at first, and I can just tell, as soon as you see a UFO and an alien race in a Godzilla movie, you just know they're gonna be evil. Like, I can just tell they were gonna be evil, like, all along. And eventually, humans, Captain Gordon and a few others, and a few mutants, they found out about this. All the mutants found out about this. But there's a thing called the M-base gene or something, and the aliens use this gene to control mutants and monsters. There's a gene that mutants and monsters have that they can use to control them. So it's pretty crazy what they do. But all the monsters they took away from destroying the world, they now control them. They also have Gigan as well, so they have a lot of firepower. So they got the plan is, well, first of all, humans get away because they get control of all the mutants except one, pretty much. Somehow they couldn't mind control this one mutant who was an important part of the story. But yeah, one mutant and a few of the humans, Captain Gordon, a few others, they escape. And yeah, basically the plan is to wake up Godzilla, because Godzilla was trapped in ice. So they went to wake up Godzilla. Aliens sent Gigan after him as well to try and stop him, but Godzilla broke out. And then this is when Godzilla just destroys a lot of the monsters. It is just some pretty cool, quite quick, to be fair, quite quick, but overall some pretty cool monster battles. First of all, he destroys Gigan when he breaks out of the ice. He just wrecks him. Gigan has him in like chains, and not chains, but he has him tied around. Godzilla finds atomic breath and just blows his head off. It was like a proper brutal battering, brutal killing. And then he destroys 1998 Zilla in Sydney, throws him into the opera house, and then atomic breaths him. Pretty mental. At this point, the alien's just getting annoyed. The alien leader, he just really getting annoyed at this. And then Godzilla destroys Kumonga. I don't know if he kills him, but he spins him around and throws him away like his trash. And then he gets to Kamacuras. He's like a mantis, isn't he? At first I thought, this is a giant ant. I was like, wait, who's this again? But yeah, Kamacuras, I'm pretty sure. I googled it. I'm pretty sure it's Kamacuras. And he killed Kamacuras on some electrical wires. And then the alien releases Rodan, King Caesar, and Anguirus at the same time. And Godzilla beats all three of them. Eventually, like after a couple minutes, he destroys all three of them. I'm not, at this point, even now, I'm not sure if he kills those three either, because you never really see him killing all three. He just knocks them all out, puts them in a pile on top of each other. And then after that, you see like a 5-second clip of Abera and Ghidorah. Pretty much, one of them gets thrown out of the water into a building. The other one gets thrown out of the water on top of the one into the building. And then Godzilla comes out of the water and just destroys them both with atomic breath. So yeah, I just thought like, okay, I wanted to see a bit more of those two, but there we go. And then after that was Kaiser Ghidorah, which looked pretty crazy. There's like the final monster pretty much, and it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty cool. And while this is happening, obviously, pretty much the aliens, they capture the human groups. So Captain Gordon, one of the mutants, who's actually really powerful, by the way, but he doesn't. He knows he has powers. He just doesn't. He gets his powers eventually after, I'm pretty sure. But they capture these humans. They want to use them as cattle because they need humans for this M-base thing. So they want to like have humans as cattle basically to like survive this alien race. But eventually get all these battles, and the mutant, the mutant they couldn't control basically fights the main alien leader. There's a massive battle on the ship. It's a bit like, at first, for a second I thought like, is this like Star Wars? Because you get this little gun ray shooting and you're fighting on some round ship. It just reminded me a bit of Star Wars sometimes. But yeah, you get some pretty cool fight scenes. Eventually the alien ship, it self-explodes. The group of humans get out in their ship. And by then, I'm pretty sure Kaiser Ghidorah breaks free of his mind control. Oh yeah, before that, by the way, before all this explosion, Mothra comes in and helps Godzilla, and they also send in Gigan again. And I'm like, oh, I thought it was destroyed. But Gigan comes in again, and pretty much he takes out Mothra. But Mothra's still there. Mothra and Godzilla take on Gigan and Kaiser Ghidorah. I'm pretty sure the alien said he was a Kaiser as well, and the mutant was a Kaiser. And I was like, well, what does Kaiser mean? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. But yeah, I guess it's just people that are not people. Sorry, I don't know. But that monster was a Kaiser. But this, I guess, people with the M base in them is a Kaiser. I have no idea what it meant. But anyway, I was enjoying it. There's a lot of things going on in here, and eventually Mothra's just taken out of it eventually, but Godzilla eventually takes out Gigan again, destroys him. Then you get this Kaiser Ghidorah. After the UFO explodes, Kaiser Ghidorah just basically like he grows his wings out and his heads come out as well, so you get more like of a proper Ghidorah instead of like a Kaiser one, and you get some big battle, and then Ghidorah's taking energy from Godzilla pretty much, and Godzilla's getting drained out. But the humans, the mutants, he uses his power, because he used his power to defeat the alien first before the explosion, and then he uses his power in their ship to fire up Godzilla, and Godzilla uses that to kill King Ghidorah, destroys him pretty much, just shoots him into the air, into pieces, and yeah, it's a pretty brutal death for Ghidorah. But yeah, it's kind of fitting that the final monster battle of the movie was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. That was just a really fitting monster battle. Then Godzilla's about to kill some humans because he still has a problem with humans, obviously. And then Minilla comes in and tells him to stop. Also, Minilla actually gains size as well during the movie, so that was pretty interesting. But yeah, Minilla stops Godzilla from destroying humans. And yeah, the movie just... Well, there's other stuff there as well, but the movie pretty much it ends with that battle and stuff. And yeah, it was pretty interesting. There was a lot in there. Alien race, mutants, a group of mutants, world defense, I don't know what the group was called, some sort of defense force. Aliens by controlling the monsters and mutants as well. One of the mutants stopped helping to save the world as well. Waking up Godzilla to destroy all the monsters that are mind controlled, which is everyone else apart from Mothra and Godzilla. There was just a lot going on, and yeah, it was pretty cool. I kind of wanted more from it, just because of some battles was just so short. Just Gigan just got destroyed twice pretty quickly. He didn't even get to make Godzilla bleed this time, which isn't really a bad thing, but still, yeah, just some monsters just got taken out pretty easily and pretty quickly. But yeah, it was still pretty good. It was still pretty good to see all these monsters come about. And yeah, that was the final movie of that era. And the next Godzilla movie from that era was 2014. So yeah, I'm not gonna watch 2014 next though. Next will be Shin Godzilla and the animated trilogy. So yeah, that'll be next episode. But yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed that movie. It wasn't like perfect. Like some of the effects were a bit off, especially on 98 Godzilla. But I enjoyed the battles mainly. I feel like they still could have made a great movie if they removed the aliens out of it, because I don't think they were needed in the story, to be fair. Because Godzilla fighting all the other monsters is good enough for plot. But it's still pretty cool to add on aliens as well. But you know, they weren't really needed. Neither were the mutants for me. But I still enjoyed it. There was a lot of like over the top music as well during the action scenes. I don't mind it, to be fair. I love movie soundtracks, but this one's a bit like too over the top sometimes. But still, it was just a really fun. That's the perfect way to like describe this movie. It was just fun to watch these monsters like duke it out. Mainly Godzilla against everyone else, but still, it was still awesome to see all that. So yeah, there we go. That's the end of this episode. Probably the longest one. I'm not really sure at this point. Yeah, I've been making these very long, but it's just that talking about these just I get carried away at a time. But yeah, the last few should be shorter anyway, because the next one's 4 movies, and the one after that is just the American ones, along with like There's a King Kong movie I got recommended, 1933. I'm going to add that onto the American episode. I'm probably just gonna do one episode with just American adaptations, and I might add on King Kong 33 as well. Also King Kong 05, just because it's also this marathon is a build up to King of the Monsters, but also to Godzilla vs Kong as well. So I thought I'd add some Kong movies in, and obviously I'll add 2017 in as well for like the last episode. Hello, it's your boy Davidoff, and welcome back to Movie Monday, where the Godzilla marathon continues. We're coming towards the end of this actually. I think there's the last Toho one. There's 4 more movies, just to 4. 2 of them came out in 2018 actually. 3 of them are animated as well. I just watched Shin Godzilla, the non-animated one. Before I get to that though, I thought I'd watch some more movies. So on Tuesday, it's Wednesday now. So the day before, I watched through a Mothra trilogy. I got recommended Rebirth of Mothra. Obviously she's in the 2019 movie, so I thought, why not watch those as well? And I watched that trilogy. I quite enjoyed it. King Ghidorah is actually in 2 of them actually. King Ghidorah is in the first one and the third one. The first one was a different version though, different colours, but still Ghidorah. So it was pretty cool to see Mothra fight Ghidorah on her own, no Godzilla either. So that was pretty interesting, that was pretty cool, and it was a nice trilogy, Anyway, on to Shin Godzilla. This was interesting. I didn't love it, but I liked it. It was interesting. Then no other monsters in this, no other monsters. It's just Godzilla. He arises on the shore. It's standalone. It's not a sequel to anything. It's like completely new. It's still Godzilla, a different design. It's still Godzilla, but completely new and standalone, which is cool because they've done a lot of sequels now to the original, and I thought it's nice to see something different now. But yeah, the Godzilla comes to Japan, and humans work out how to destroy it. Basically, Prime Minister, the army, they're trying to destroy Godzilla. This whole movie, that's what it's about really. Godzilla comes to destroy Japan, and humans want to destroy Godzilla. It's a pretty straightforward storyline, and it worked. It was really like this Godzilla. It like evolves. There's like 4 different forms, I think. The 4th and final form is so good. Like, he's massive. Like, I wonder how big he is compared to 2014, because he's pretty big in this. He is really damn big. So I was like, yeah. I mean, I've seen a photo of him before. I've seen a photo of Shin Godzilla before. I even saw the trailer actually. Like, I watched the trailer to this movie back in 2015 when it came out. This came out in 2016. So at some point they released a trailer. Like, it was like a silent trailer. I watched it years ago, so I remember it from now. Like, just quite a big Godzilla. And when you see the movie, he's massive. You can see how massive he is. So yeah, I would love to see him standing next to 2014 Godzilla. I think that would be a crazy comparison. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how this goes. It was pretty good. It was pretty fun. But when they first revealed the atomic breath, when he glows purple, basically they're trying to bomb him. The Japanese weapons don't work, so the US send in bombers, and they make Godzilla bleed with their bombs. They bomb him at the back, and he starts bleeding. A lot of blood comes down as well. So at this point, it doesn't kill him, but it pisses him off because he starts blowing purple. And then the purple atomic breath, oh my words, it was mad. It was crazy. It was scary how destructive it was and how fast it was. He just destroyed everything around him. Like, the whole city was just in flames. That atomic breath was deadly. It was purple, then it was orange. It was absolutely deadly. When his mouth opens up, it's game over. And then he starts shooting upwards, and he takes down the bombs as well. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy how that goes. I mentioned he has 4 forms in this. The first form was really weird. When I saw the first form, I was like, this isn't Godzilla. What is this thing? But then I realized, because I didn't know about the evolving thing. Then he started evolving and stuff, and I thought, oh, okay, I see. We're gonna get final form eventually. At one point, he was like a mini version of himself, which is pretty cool. And yeah, and then like in the final battle, which was in the daytime. The first was at night time. This was not dubbed, by the way. This was in subtitles. Pretty sure there's not a dubbed version of this because it was so recent. But yeah, in the final battle, atomic rays were coming out his back, out his fins, and also out his tail as well. I was like, have we ever seen that before? Maybe in a book, maybe in a Godzilla book or a comic or something, but I don't think I've seen that in a movie. Like, atomic breath coming out of his back and his tail. That is so scary. That is so scary. But yeah, they find out ways to destroy him, and they eventually freeze him, pretty much immobilize him, because he reaches a too low of a temperature. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. Godzilla came to cause destruction, and they were trying to destroy him, and eventually they froze him. Not destroy him, but they froze him. Yeah, I don't know if there's a sequel to this. I'm pretty sure it's just standalone. I have no idea, but it was pretty interesting. So yeah, on to the animated trilogy now. Just watched the first one, the first animated one, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. There's other monsters in this, but only for like a second, basically. There's like an intro for the credits, and they show basically kaiju have taken over Earth, pretty much. Lots of monsters. All the monsters have taken over Earth. Godzilla's the ruler, pretty much. And humans are not the dominant species anymore. So because it's too dangerous, because Godzilla and other monsters cause destruction and killed a lot of people, a group of humans escaped Earth and went to find another planet. And they found a planet eventually, but it was uninhabitable because a group of people went there and tried to go there anyway, and the ship got destroyed. But yeah, there was a guy there who was mainly focused around. He was really annoyed at Godzilla, really angry, really wanted revenge on Godzilla because of everything happened. People they lost, and because Earth is their home, and they got driven away. But yeah, by this point, 20,000 years have passed. So I think in space there's a lot less time, but like 20,000 years has passed on Earth. So they go back to Earth because they're running out of supplies and stuff. They need to go back to Earth to find resources, etc. And yeah, eventually when they get to Earth, they find Godzilla. So yeah, the last half an hour was just them trying to take out Godzilla, which was cool. It was cool. Most of this film was alright. It was kind of meh. It was alright. The last half an hour, it was pretty interesting. It was pretty fun to see that battle, to see all these humans that have come back from space to battle Godzilla. They had weapons, they had good weapons, and eventually they do actually take down Godzilla. They take him out, they kill him, and then because there's a conversation they're having, like the guy who's angry at Godzilla and another guy. They're talking about how this might not be the same Godzilla, might be a descendant. And as they're saying that, a brand new Godzilla wakes up, the ground starts to shake, and you see a much bigger, a huge, humongous Godzilla, and I'm pretty sure it's Godzilla Earth. And I was like, okay, the next one's gonna be interesting then, because you got Godzilla Earth in this. Like, I don't know much about Godzilla Earth, but I know it's a much bigger version. It's the biggest version of Godzilla and the strongest version. Don't know that much about his extra powers, but still, Godzilla Earth, I know it's a big deal in more ways than one, pun intended. So when I saw Godzilla Earth wake up, I was like, I like this ending. I like this ending. But yeah, the last half an hour was the best part, really. The rest of it, I mean, I get the storyline, but I kind of want to see Godzilla, to be honest. I was kind of waiting for him to turn up. But yeah, it was alright. It was alright, this movie. It was alright. The last half an hour was definitely worth it. But yeah, that after credit scene though, what on earth? Who was that girl? I have no idea. I'm gonna watch the next one right now actually, so let's do this. Actually, wait, before that, I forgot to say, there's other kaiju that play a role in this. Like there are others that turn up, but only for like a second. But there are flying kaiju, when they first come back to Earth, there's servum. I'm pretty sure that means slave or something. I guess they're slave servants to Godzilla. So when humans first arrive on Earth, first come back to Earth, the servum attacked them. And then of course when they attack Godzilla in the air, servum attacked them as well, which they deal with pretty quickly. Servum they weren't that interesting or anything, but I just thought it's worth mentioning. They were pretty cool. They were pretty cool, but nothing amazing. Anyway, on to the next one. Actually, wait, one more thing. Let's go back to Shin Godzilla, right? In the movie, they were using trains to bomb him. So they were like pelting trains, because he was standing on a railway track. So they pelted trains full speed, like every train they had, just pelted it at Godzilla, and they exploded it on impact as well. I thought that was pretty clever. I was like, well, that is creative. I haven't seen that before. Just put like 10 trains into him. That was pretty cool. Alright, so I just watched Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. I forgot to mention, by the way, in the first movie, the one I watched before this, there was also an alien race helping out the humans. And the people that went off into space to escape Earth, it wasn't just humans, it was aliens too. just thought I'd let you know. For some reason I forgot to say that it was humans and aliens working together, and also the aliens planet as well was destroyed too. So that's another thing. And I also forgot to mention that Mechagodzilla, there was a flashback Mechagodzilla in the first movie that was, I think he was being made and then it exploded or something went wrong. And in this movie they find Mechagodzilla City. So not Mechagodzilla, but Mechagodzilla City. I assume they tried to create Mechagodzilla there. I have no idea, but Mechagodzilla City, it's not an actual city, but it's a facility where Godzilla can be destroyed because of nanometal. There's a thing called nanometal in this that can be used to destroy Godzilla. Now the main character is called Haruo. I forgot that in the last movie for some reason. Last movie I watched it, I forgot his name. I remember it this time because it's mentioned enough times. But yeah, Haruo is the main guy. He has a vengeance mission, wants to kill Godzilla, and will stop at nothing to kill him. And so do other humans, other people as well. So he's not alone in this. But towards the end, he kind of has a change in heart. Not a change of heart, actually. Wait. What I mean is, there's two big guys, and they want to combine themselves with nanometal to like evolve and survive. Apparently that helps them survive. It makes them stronger a little bit. So that was really like, I was confused. I was like, that works? Obviously it's a fictional thing, but still, I was like, okay, this is strange. So they were combining themselves with nanometal to adapt, to evolve. And Haruo, along with other people, disagreed with this. They were like, no, this is not the right thing, pretty much. And also they create mecha, not monsters, but they create like a, it's called Vulture. It's called Vulture. There's aircraft vehicles that they use. It requires a pilot. And Haruo and Yuko is his love interest in this movie, and someone else. The other person is one of the people that wants to combine nanometal as well. So that's pretty interesting. And eventually Mechagodzilla City is covered by the clouds, but eventually they lose their cover, and then Godzilla sees where they are, comes towards them. His attacks are so powerful. Like, this Godzilla is OP. Like, even from a long distance he can destroy targets just like this. Just in a few seconds he's destroying everything. So it's pretty crazy. But using those 3 vultures that they have, the plan is they got a trap with nanometal and other stuff, so they want to lure him to the trap with the vultures, and they succeed. They take down Godzilla, which is pretty crazy. And then what happens is he pretty much depowers. He's still, completely still, and what happens is he heats up. He constantly keeps heating up, and the area around him is too hot to survive in, and pretty much anything around him will burn alive. So they have to get out of there. But the thing is, this will keep expanding. It won't be one area. It will expand to the entirety of planet Earth. It will destroy and burn everything. So that's pretty crazy. And this is the point where Haruo's like, well, what are we gonna do now? And one of the big guys, who is back at the base, controlling things, he's like, he wants the 3 pilots in the vultures to turn into, to combine with nanometal. There's basically, they've set a trap basically for the pilots inside, and the nanometal is supposed to, like, from the feet and the arms, it's supposed to combine with them. And Yuko and Haruo disagree with this. They disagree because basically by combining they can destroy and kill Godzilla, pretty much. But Haruo doesn't want to do this because he doesn't think it's right, and Yuko didn't want it either. But Yuko was getting overwhelmed. She was screaming. It was quite emotional, this part, actually. She was screaming, she was getting overwhelmed, and it was gonna kill her at some point. And Haruo basically, I think someone else, what's the other guy's name? There's someone else looking out for them. There's someone else there in a cave somewhere looking out for them, and he basically tells them, you have to do this to save Yuko, to stop this combination, because somehow Haruo was not able to combine with nanometal. So he didn't want to do it anyway, but still, something, I think the guy looking out for him did something, but for some reason it couldn't combine with him. So he told him through the radio, you have to do this, you have to destroy this facility, and you can stop this overheating thing. and well, basically either he kills Godzilla or planet Earth overheats. Actually, no, wait. If he kills Godzilla, then it still overheats. If you finish off Godzilla, he overheats. So you either want to destroy planet Earth by killing Godzilla, or not kill Godzilla and destroy the facility, saving a lot of lives. So he was having a lot of thoughts, having a lot of flashbacks to his granddad dying, who died in the first movie, which I forgot to mention again. Another thing I forgot to mention for some reason, I keep forgetting to mention things, but yeah, eventually he destroyed the facility. And yeah, unfortunately though, unfortunately Godzilla obviously woke up from this, and he's extremely powerful, so that's a danger. But Yuko died, so that was really emotional. That actually hit me a little bit. I was like, oh boy, like she didn't want to be combined nanometal, and she was, and she died from it, and Hera at the end just screamed out in agony. That was a sad ending. That was a sad ending. And then you get the after credit scene. And the guy who helped him out is an alien as well. He mentioned something during the movie. He whispered something to Haruo, and you don't hear it, but then you see the scene again in the after credit scene, and you actually hear it. And he says basically there's something that can face up to Godzilla. Pretty much, he says other things, but pretty much that's my understanding of it. And he says Ghidorah. So he teases Ghidorah there. I'm looking forward now to the final one. The final Toho movie includes Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and it should be a powerful one considering this is a powerful Godzilla. So yeah, I might actually watch it now. Actually, I might watch everything in one go. Let's do this. If you didn't know, every time I tell you about a movie, I go to editing first and put all the clips in, trim what I need to trim, and then go to the next movie. And watching this back, I just realized I forgot to mention a big plot point. I mean, it doesn't matter towards the end. It's just the first act that it matters. Basically, there's an after credit scene in the previous movie that I mentioned. I was like, who is this? And it was Haruo was lying down. He was injured he wasn't injured, but he was being looked after from the battle from the first movie. And there's a girl helping him, and I was like, who is this? And it turns out it's a tribal girl from a human race that lives on Earth. So for 20,000 years, the human race has managed to survive. A small amount, but still managed to survive. So that was pretty interesting to see, like, a human race, a tribal race. They couldn't speak English. It's a different language, but they evolved a little bit. They were a bit quicker and stuff, so they adapted to the new surroundings. So that was pretty interesting as well, to see, like, a human race actually survived on Earth during that time of monsters ruling it. So that was pretty cool. I feel that was pretty cool. It kind of gave me vibes to the TV show The 100. That doesn't have Godzilla in it. It's nothing about monsters, but it's about pretty much there's nuclear war, and the world gets destroyed, but a lot of humans survive in space, and eventually in future they come back down to Earth to see if they can survive there. And not only can they survive there, but they find other humans that survived there already from the nukes and stuff. So I kind of got vibes from that from this movie, just because like they come back from an apocalypse and they find out that humans were still here all along anyway. So yeah, that's why I found a similarity. I don't know if you watched that show, but still, that's why I just found similarities there. Anyway, let me just go watch the final movie. Okay, so Godzilla the Planet Eater. It was underwhelming, to be honest, and rather confusing. Yeah, that's what I got to say. That's my review of this movie. It was underwhelming and confusing. Half the time I was like, what's happening? Like, what's happening? So, first of all, Yuko is technically still alive, and she died at the end of the last movie, and I thought, oh, there's some hope. But it turns out she's brain dead, so nothing happens anyway. She doesn't come back to life, because even though her heart's still beating, the nano metal is keeping her alive, but she can't wake up because her brain doesn't function anymore. So yeah, her living on just does nothing. So that's kind of depressing. And there's this, as I mentioned in the after credits scene of the first movie, first animated movie, there was a person to look after him. There was a girl to look after him. This girl, she had an identical twin as well. So yeah, and they're part of a tribe called the Hotra tribe, And I googled Hotra, and the first thing that suggested on Google was Hotra Mothra, and I was just like, have I just spoiled something for myself here? Because this was during the movie. I was watching the movie. I looked it up, and it said Hotra Mothra, and I was like, what? Why is Mothra mentioned here? Which is really strange. I didn't read anything, by the way. It just came up like as a suggestion, like Mothra next to Hotra. So this was, I guess, based on that. I thought, wait, is this the Mothra tribe? Is that what this is? And considering there's twins there, one of them looked after Haruo. She has a twin sister who's identical, and I'm thinking at this point, like, considering what Google spoiled for me, are they the Mothra twins? That's what I was thinking. And then you actually see Mothra as well at one point for like a second, for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, okay, well that's Mothra there, and just flying past. So that was pretty cool. That was in a vision sort of. So the guy that helped Haruo in the last movie, who helped him destroy the facility to stop this overheating thing, his name is Metuphies. I forgot how you pronounce it. Metuphies or something like that, right? He has this little sort of like religious / cult thing where they worship a god, and this god turns out to be King Ghidorah, which is interesting. I thought, okay, this is an interesting way to do an origin for this monster that is just like really strange. But at this point I was like, okay, let's see King Ghidorah then, because it was a very weird thing. Well, meanwhile, by the way, the ending of the last movie where Haruo decides to change his mind, the two big guys trying to do the nanometal thing, they were both aliens, I'm pretty sure. So up in space, they know about all this. The aliens think that Haruo was wrong to pull out of it to change his mind, and humans are defending him. So they have a little like battle, not a battle, but they have disagreement, and the aliens are like, well, yeah, he has to accept punishment, otherwise we will. Otherwise, well, wait, what were they thinking? What are they gonna say? I've forgotten now. But pretty much, if they didn't imprison him, they were gonna. The aliens were probably gonna kill him or something. I've forgotten now. I've actually forgotten what the aliens were gonna do. But yeah, there was that whole disagreement up in space. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, because this religious cult thing, it spreads on the space in the ship and on Earth as well. A lot of soldiers buy into it, and they basically have to like call for King Ghidorah. They have to like basically like call for him. There's this green gem thing that has to be activated, one by Metuphies and one by a guy on the space on the ship, and they eventually a bunch of people join this cult / religion, and they all call for Ghidorah, like I said. And Ghidorah arrives and destroys the space ship. So like a big hole opens up in space, and the spaceship destroys everyone. The aliens, the humans, even the worshippers, they're all dead. Then Ghidorah goes towards Earth. Now this is really weird, because it doesn't seem like Ghidorah. Like, you don't see like a dragon. I mean, you see 3 heads. You see it's Ghidorah. You see 3 heads. But these are like, they're an illusion in a way, because you can't detect Ghidorah at this point. The laws of physics in this universe doesn't apply to him, because he's from another universe. So he's like an illusion. You can't detect him unless you look at him or hear him, which was a really weird way to put it. And there were like 3 holes in the sky, and each of his heads were coming out of those 3 holes, and they were just really long heads with long necks, no actual body. So that was even stranger. And Godzilla couldn't touch him either, because he couldn't. His hand would just go. His hands, sorry, not his hands, because it doesn't have hands. But Godzilla, every time he fires atomic breath or tries to hit him, it just goes through Ghidorah, like he's like an illusion. But Ghidorah can touch him. Ghidorah can bite into him and weaken him. So that was just really weird. I gotta say, looking back on this animated trilogy, the monster action is rather underwhelming. I gotta say, I feel like for once, the human side of it is more interesting than the monster action. Even though I enjoyed the previous two, by the way. I was fine with those. Like, I enjoyed watching humans trying to fight Godzilla and a bigger version as well. But even in those movies, Godzilla didn't do like... I mean, he caused destruction and stuff with his atomic breath and other stuff. And he powered up as well. But when he was moving around, he didn't look that great. And he was kind of... I mean, I get why he was slow. But still, he kind of like when he was moving, you couldn't... There wasn't really much that was happening. He was just walking. He was just walking, and that's it. And it only got interesting when he got powered up, pretty much. So I feel like over the 3 movies, the monster action was just underwhelming, like overall, and especially in this movie. It's the worst in this movie. I just don't know what to think sometimes. I liked the first 2 to an extent. This last one just kind of ruins it in a way. So yeah, I mean, I still love Godzilla. It's just that this movie was, I don't know, just underwhelming and just really confusing, because Ghidorah wasn't really Ghidorah. Apart from, like, you could see it's Ghidorah, but it's not Ghidorah. It just isn't. And this whole time as well, Godzilla is being controlled by Metuphius, the leader of the cult. And that confused me even more. He does it through his weird eye. So, and also Harrow is someone who he wanted to be a part of his religion as well. He wanted Harrow to be like the spearhead, to be like the prophet in a way. So that was even stranger as well. So Harrow goes up to a hill to try and stop Metuphius. Metuphius has also got one of the twins up there. It's not the one that's like, one of the twins is a love interest for him. I don't think it's that one. I think it's the other twin that gets into trouble. That gets caught by Metuphius. And yeah, she's still alive. Like, she survives this. But Metuphius and Harrow, they go into some vision sequence. Basically, Harrow looks into his eye and suddenly he's knocked out. And they're both having the same vision. They're having flashbacks. He's just telling him about certain things that happen and don't happen. And I'm just like, okay, this is... half the time I was like, wait, what's going on here? I'm so confused. By the way, this was in Japanese with subtitles, by the way. The first 2 movies were English dubbed, just so you know. Also the Toho tribe, the girl who helped Harrow, she can speak well, it's Japanese. I said English in the previous review that I just did, but it's in Japanese. Obviously, it was just English dubbed. But the point is, she can understand him now. She can speak better. So that's it's good that they can communicate. But what was I gonna say? They were, Metuphius and Harrow were having these visions together. Metuphius was trying to like tell him why this is right, because Metuphius wants Ghidorah to destroy Godzilla, which is what he's doing at the time, destroying Godzilla while being controlled by Metuphius. And after destroying Godzilla, he's meant to destroy all life on Earth, just destroy the planet, just like he destroyed the alien planet as well. And I was just like, well, okay, that's an interesting villainous plan. But still, yeah, they go through all these visions, and eventually Harrow breaks out of it and pretty much destroys the guy's eye. I'm pretty sure it gorges it out. And once the guy's eye is destroyed, Ghidorah becomes not an illusion anymore. I mean, he's not an illusion. I mean, he's there, but you can't touch him. But he can touch you. That's pretty... What's the word for that? I have no idea. But once Metuphius' eye is destroyed, suddenly Ghidorah is not like you can touch him now, and Godzilla can destroy him. So these 3 holes in the sky, which is what Ghidorah's heads come out of. So no body, there's 3 holes in the sky. Each of his heads come from there. So Godzilla just destroys all 3 of those holes, and that's how he defeats Ghidorah, pretty much. So yeah, that was very strange. When I was looking forward to this because Ghidorah was in it, and Godzilla was in it. I was expecting some epic fights, but this was just a weird looking Ghidorah. I don't know. I'm baffled. I need someone to explain that to me. And I also need explaining to the after credit scene. The after credit scene, the people still alive, the Toho tribe and the humans still alive, left on Earth. They were doing some ritual thing about giving up your fears, and I thought, wait, is that Mothra? Is that about Mothra, or is that something else? I have no idea. Is there a sequel to this coming? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's ending here, but the after credits scene confused me even more. By the way, I forgot to mention the ending actually. One of the vultures they managed to revive, and Haruo uses it to pretty much take on Godzilla. So basically, Metatheus tells him something, like when they were going through those visions. Metatheus told him about sometimes you have to lose the battle, or something along the lines of that. Haruo had a flashback to it, and then he thought he'd get Yuko. So Yuko, who is dead, well, she's dead, but she's not dead. She's still beating, but she won't wake up. So Haruo's taken her in the vulture and flown straight towards Godzilla, saying he was shouting he was the last survivor to fight Godzilla, etc. And he just goes towards Godzilla, and Godzilla destroys him. He's dead, Yuko's gone now, and the ship hits Godzilla, and it lets out some massive wave of something, and then flowers start growing on the ground. So does that give life? I don't know. I'm so confused by that, because that was basically the ending. Like, Haruo took Yuko's half-dead body in a vulture and flew straight into Godzilla. Well, Godzilla killed them as well, and Godzilla got hit. And I don't know. I don't think Godzilla died in this, but it set off some wave that gave life and flowers. Am I stupid, or am I justified in this confusion? I have no idea. I'm gonna watch some videos explaining this. There's surely something, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's confused. But anyway, yeah, I think I've spoken a lot about this one movie that I didn't even like. But there we go. I was kind of looking forward to animations, to be honest. Just because, like, with animations, you can do more with less money. You know what I mean? Like, in a live action movie, for like effects and CGI, it costs a lot of money. That's why in a lot of monster movies, they don't show the monsters until later on, because they got a limited budget. They can't just show a monster like the whole time, because it's just going to cost them too much. But with animations, you can do a lot more. You can show a lot more for less of a budget. I noticed that in superhero movies, actually, like DC animated movies, they can show so much more than you can show in a live action movie without having to like exceed your budget. So I thought, animated Godzilla movie, surely that's a chance for like better Godzilla action in a way, you know, like, because you can show more, you can do more. You don't need stuntmen, you don't need this and that. You just have to. I mean, it's not easy to animate. It's obviously really hard, but you can do more is the point with good animators. So yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed by that as well, to be fair, because I was looking forward to these. But yeah, to be fair, I still like the first two. I was fine with the first two. This third one just, I don't know. It's not the worst one though. The worst one was that 1 hour long one. What was that called? No idea. Well, I can't remember. It was towards the end. I think it was the last. No, it wasn't. It was like the 10th or 11th movie. A movie about a kid having dreams about Godzilla's son. That one was the worst one, easily. But this one, yeah. Let's just stop talking about this one. Anyway, I finished this all in one go. It's 5 AM now on Thursday. I need to stop staying up so late. It's not because of this marathon, by the way. I just have a bad habit now. I sleep at like 5 or 6 AM, wake up at 2 or 3. What I need to do is get a job. That way I can fix my sleeping pattern, because I need the damn job. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, Movie Monday is done. It is done very early, so I might start the next episode before this goes up, to be fair, because why not? Because I've got three American remakes of Toho movies: 1998, Godzilla, the Italian one. So what's that? That's 5 movies plus 2 King Kong movies. That's the plan for next episode, so I might get started on that early, to be fair. This was your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and see ya.